Hello everyone! Yes, I am the hello everyone guy. My name is Paul Third and I am here to prescribe to you some audio geekness to help you through these troubled COVID-19 times. And today, what is my prescription for you? Paul Third, the audio doctor, or whatever I want to call myself. My prescription for you today is some ACUSTICA audio. Yes, very, very big surprise there. So yes, ACUSTICA Audio Cola. Is this thing the punchiest thing you've ever heard and I've ever heard on drums? So yes, hello I hope everybody's doing marvellously well in these COVID times. Sorry for the Warren accent there, don't know where that came from. I know it's a bit of a crap time, but I'm still here. I'm still here for you, okay? So, today, let's look at cola, right? I love punch. Everybody knows I love punch. I adore punch, okay? So, the cola, long story short, is emulating a CADAC console, okay? So, it's an old console, and everybody's told me that's great for punch. So, this is purely just drums, okay? Purely drums. So, I've got kick, snare, overheads, toms, rooms. These are the drums from my first single. So no samples, fully recorded. All I've done is I've got a bit of gating where applicable, and I've got some subtractive EQ just to tidy everything up. So that's all it is, right? Gating and subtractive EQ, and then I've got the channel strips on. So first off, let's hear actually the sound of cola and the way that I used it to mix versus the dry. Okay, so I've got the dry drums versus my processed with cola. So let's hear if this thing is really as punchy as what everybody makes out. Okay, so there you go. That is quite a big sound. Okay, very punchy, very punchy indeed. The highs, wow, it's like the highs are very smooth. It's not really a unit. You're going to get some really nice kind of air crystal kind of clear highs, but the highs are very smooth, and I do quite like what it does to the overheads. Kind of, I find that you can really kind of just like dial in the highs, and it's there. It's kind of got a little bit of depth to like the cymbals and stuff and the hi-hats, but it's not thin. It's got quite a thickness to it, but still quite smooth. In terms of the snare, bang, that snare is right there. The kick, I'm not overly like bowled over by the kick, but I still think it sounds better than the way it was before. I managed to tighten it up and kind of still got it coming out a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I've got the drums entirely soloed, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to play it all the way, like a full pass, and I'll just start taking stuff out. So like I'll take the overheads out and the drum rooms out, leave the kick and the snare, and then I'll let you hear what the drum room comp sounds like on its own, what the toms sound like on their own, etc. And also I'll have the settings kind of down below for you. So let's actually hear in kind of individually how the sound that I managed to get out of cola, how that kind of builds up into each kind of section. So let's hear what that sounds. kind of what you can kind of hear there is that for me, honestly, I mentioned it earlier, see that drum room, I love that comp for the drum rooms and the toms as well. Now remember, I don't have any EQ on the toms. I'm just compressing, right? I'm just compressing just to kind of bring the toms out, right? And in the drum room, I'm compressing, I think it was about 6 to 7 dB, right? And normally if you think about it, if you really have to hit drums hard to really get that kind of smacky sound, sometimes you're talking maybe 10 dB compression, but like 6 to 7 dB compression. And you get such a smack out of the drum rooms. And again, even in the toms, I just kind of feel that I was able to kind of again, I'm pretty sure it was something to like, again, 5 to 6 dB on both toms, and the toms just come right out in the mix, no EQ, and it sounds really, really, really nice. Again, overheads are just kind of doing their job, not overly bright, but still kind of like has the depth and quite smooth. Only thing I will say is a little bit on the dark side for me, and it does seem to me that it's kind of adding a little bit kind of more kind of low mids and stuff like that. So again, it's kind of got that high end roll off, but I kind of feel like it's giving you a little bit. It's got a lot of punch in it, it's kind of a little bit more low mids as well. That might just be me, right? It might just be me. So how about we then compare it? This is the big test, right? So what I've done is I've mixed the Camel and the Magenta in the way I would have mixed it, right? So again, I've mixed both the way that I would have mixed it, okay? So the Camel will be the way I mixed it. Again, the frequencies are all the same, or as close to the same as physically possible. Again, compressor settings all kind of roughly doing all the same stuff. But it's basically like how I would mix Cola and how I would mix the drums using what I already use, which is the Camel and the Magenta. So let's do it a side by side. First, I'll be a blind test because I want you guys to kind of pick one first. And then the second half will be when I kind of reveal which one's which, and then you'll get to hear the drums knowing which one is which. And then we'll finish up, and it'll be quite quick, and that'll be me done. Okay. Okay, so I am not going to lie, I kind of have a little bit of a conundrum here. So to kind of start off, obviously the Magenta has a lot of air in it and a lot of top end sweetness. You can kind of really crank the Magenta and it not really get too much. What you can hear in difference with the Cola is that, again, the darkness of the Cola, and you can kind of hear more of those low mids for me that are kind of coming out. It's not muddy, I wouldn't say it's muddy, it's just that there's a lot more top end with the Magenta. And in terms of like the low end, in terms of the kick when I'm using the Camel, I would actually say I prefer the Cola here, which really surprised me because I've been telling everybody how much I love I love the Camel for low end, but the Cola did a really great job there. Two different characteristics there. For this one, I kind of feel like I want to leave it up to you, right? I'm kind of swaying a little bit more towards Cola, to be honest with you. I quite like having just one console to mix all the drums through, kind of keep it consistent. There is a massive difference in the snare. There's, again, the Cola is a lot darker, but I do feel that the Magenta opens up a little bit more, and you can kind of hear more of the snare. There's more top end in it. But again, what the Cola does is the Cola has got this brilliant ability, probably because it's all the same console, it just comes together. It just kind of melts together, where there is a little bit of separation with the Magenta for me. So I don't know. I'm kind of swaying. I'm kind of swaying towards cola just now. I do like punch, and I think overall you're wanting your mixes to be punchy. I do think if I wasn't to go for cola, I would say that the compressor, I would start using the compressor. It's one of the punchiest compressors I have ever heard. I'd probably say it's more punchy and boiling than a distressor or something like that. It's very, 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 very punchy. And overall a very, 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 very cool unit. So, I want you guys to tell me down below what you guys think, which one you guys prefer, because I'm very, very interested, because I want your guys' opinion. I think I'm swaying towards cola. That's kind of, I think that probably the high end roll off and stuff like that, probably, maybe I am mixing too bright, and with the top end of the Magenta being able to completely kind of crank it and really push the high end, maybe I'm mixing too bright. Maybe my records are too bright sounding, and maybe toning that down and using something like cola might actually work better. You know what I mean? So there's positives and negatives probably to both, but I want your guys' opinion. So there you go. In terms of punch, is ACUSTICA Audio Cola the punchiest console that I've tried thus far? I would have to say yes. I would have to say it's the punchiest console that ACUSTICA sell that I've tried so far. So tomorrow, guys, keep your eyes peeled, okay? Lindell, the 50 channel is coming, okay? I have purposely got an ACUSTICA Audio pink session set up. So what have I got again? I've got kick, snare, overheads, rooms, bass, guitar, vocals, okay? So I'm going to shoot out them individually, and then at the end I'm going to bring them all together, and it's going to be kind of the best way that I could think of to kind of show it in the context of a mix. So they're all going to be all processed, pink, all processed, the new Lindell API, and then we'll see kind of which one I prefer and kind of which one kind of sounds best, to be fair. It is going to be the most coveted AA channel strip that ACUSTICA do. It is the most coveted, and it's won the most polls versus, and everybody knows how much I love Lindell. I love the 80 channel, which is the Neve. So I have high hopes for the Lindell. But I'm just going to tell you, I was very, very, very impressed by the pink. It was the very first time I had a proper kind of chance to play about with it. So I don't know, the Lindell's got a lot to live up to. Okay, so that will be Wednesday. I promise, because it comes out Tuesday, and I've got to just like get straight into it, rattle it, do the video, edit it, and then get it out, because I need to be one of the first people to do it. It's just the way I am. So guys, keep your eyes peeled out for that. So, and remember to like this video and also subscribe. There's an entire Mixing Wednesday playlist if you are new to this channel, okay? So there's an entire, honestly, over like 60 odd videos now. It's getting crazy, okay? And there's also a Patreon page, and there also is a join button as well. So if you want to be a Mixing Wednesday member, then you can get stuck right into it. You can have input into the videos that I'm going to be doing. You can, there's different tiers, but all to the point where you can actually have direct input into the plugins that I'm doing. So again, if I do an API shootout in the future, you actually have direct input, and I'll take your opinions on board about exactly which plugins we're going to be using. The Patreon page is all about, I'm going to be buying analog hardware and doing proper analog versus digital shootouts via analog that I'm buying myself, buy, sell. So there's a Patreon, there's a join button down below, like, subscribe, and I'll see you again tomorrow for the big one, and I'm very excited for you guys to listen to it. So tomorrow, big one, like, subscribe.